Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thank you for tuning into this video. The gold to silver ratio is lowering, meaning that silver is outperforming gold. It's almost at 82 to 1 right now, and we've seen it as high as 95 to 1 over the past couple months. This means that it takes 82 ounces of silver to equal 1 ounce of gold. What you can do to check the ratios is divide gold by silver, and that will show you what the ratio is. Historically, the ratio is around 40 to 1. For it to be quote unquote high, it has to be above 50 to 1, but it's still extremely high, extremely exaggerated, since silver isn't much more rare or common than gold is. So why is this ratio fluctuating so high? It's the stigma we've put on gold over the years. It used to be 2.5 parts silver equals 1 part gold, which meant the ratio was only 2.5 to 1, but now it's 82 to 1, which is still high, but it is lowering, meaning that silver is a better purchase or a better investment. You can also trade the gold to silver ratio to your advantage to either earn free gold or free silver. But I found an article written by Provident Metals 7 days ago titled "The Gold to Silver Ratio, What is it and Why Does It Matter?" This is a great article to explain everything that it has to do with the gold to silver ratio, and at the end, or while I'm reading this article, I will share some of my input and insight and experience with this as well. But anyways, the link will be in the description if you want to check it out yourself, which I highly recommend. So, for experienced investors, the gold to silver ratio is one of many indicators used to determine the right and wrong time to buy or sell their precious metals. Which is true, the gold to silver ratio is a great tool to use to see where prices are headed and to see which is the better buy at the time. A lot of people do diversify into both gold and both silver, and it's a great tool, a great indicator to see which you should be headed, or more specifically focusing on right at that moment in time. Other factors, including economic uncertainty, inflation, frenzy, and debt, have encouraged millions to invest into gold and silver, and in the past few years, small-scale investors have begun to climb aboard. Yet, despite these market developments, to many, the gold to silver ratio remains a vague, elusive mystery. So, what is the gold to silver ratio, and why does it even matter? Good question. First, a simple definition. Basically, the gold to silver ratio is the amount of silver it takes to purchase 1 ounce of gold, which I already explained. At the time this was written, the gold to silver ratio was approximately 50 to 1. That means the current price, it would take 50 ounces of silver to buy 1 ounce of gold. While there are countless websites providing the current ratios relative to painless to calculate your own. And I've already explained how you do that. But this article was written 7 days ago. But they're talking about, when that was actually brought about. So, investors who trade gold, bullion, and silver, bullion, and other precious metals scrutinize the gold to silver ratio as a signal for the right time to buy or sell your particular metal. When the ratio is high, the general consensus is that silver is favored because its relative ratio to gold is somewhat cheap. Conservatively, a low ratio tends to favor gold and may be a signal it's a good time to buy the yellow metal. Many large-scale experienced investors may trade their silver for gold as the ratio drops, which you can trade your gold bullion or silver bullion, vice versa, just using them the right times, the right peaks, the right prices to be able to trade either your American Eagles, or you would always use bullion. You don't want to use high premium stuff because then you would be losing out on all those extra ounces because the premium's attached. You don't want to be trading pandas or kookaburras for your gold bars. You would be trading your bullion types of coins as low as silver over spot you can get. Anyways, historically, what did the gold to silver ratio look like? Since 1687, as far back as records reached, the gold to silver ratio vacillated between roughly 14 and 100. Around 1900, as the ratio steadied, remaining relatively flat. Indeed, prior to 1900, the gold to silver ratio hovered around 16. This was likely because many countries were using gold and silver-backed currencies. For instance, France and the United States assigned statutory limits on what the ratio could be. So, also the U.S. Geological Survey estimates there's 17.5 times more silver in Earth's crust than gold, which could provide another explanation for that 1900 gold to silver average. But this is definitely something you need to think about, is the industrial demand is booming and supply is falling. The last 7 years they've been abandoning silver mines. The production of silver worldwide on a global scale, Mexico, Peru, and Chile have all been abandoning silver. So yes, there might be that much in the Earth's crust compared to gold, but the amount that's actually in circulation is being produced, is being dug out, is much, much, much lower than that. Actually, silver is probably more rare than gold because miners are focusing more on gold right now. So that's something to think about, and I do want to incorporate that when you're looking at this because you need to know the context behind it. So throughout the 20th century, though, the gold to silver ratio has averaged about 47 to 50 and has fluctuated wildly at times. And that's back in the day. Now we see gold to silver ratio almost at 100. It almost reached 100 a couple months ago, about 6 months ago. 95 to 1. And now we do see it going back lower, which means that silver is outperforming gold, because for the ratios to normalize back to the 60 to 1 level, 50 to 1 level, this means that silver has to either appreciate or gold has to depreciate. And more than likely, silver is going to be the one appreciating up to gold. It's not like gold's going to fall down to silver. Silver's going to appreciate, going to rise up to gold. And that's why silver has so much potential. But anyways, what does this mean for the future? Some experts predict the gold to silver ratio will return to its long-term pre-1900 average of 16 to 1. And many factors are cited in this favorable claim. It's worth noting, however, among these experts are some of the most ardent advocates for silver investing. In the end, in the order for the ratio to return to pre-1900 average, the price of silver would need to rise approximately $105 per ounce. Likewise, if the ratio were to drop its long-term average, the price would be about 61 an ounce. And this is something to think about, because even if silver does get to $100 for the ratios to be in that 16 to 1 range, gold would most likely be also rising as well. It's not like silver is just going to boom to $100 and gold's going to stay at $1,500. People are going to be investing into gold. The prices would also be fluctuating in gold's favor as well to some extent. It's not like gold's just going to go on pause and then silver's going to go in this major rally. That's not how it works. So you have to put that in mind as well. But it is interesting to see, even if the ratio were to drop to its long-term average, the prices would still rise to about $61 an ounce, which is still relatively, it's realistic. Think about not even 10 years ago, silver was almost $50 an ounce. In 2011, silver was $49.50. And that's not even a decade ago. So think about that, comparing it to some of these ranges. So they're not unrealistic. They're not out the realm of impossibility. They could happen. The gold to silver ratio is indeed one of the several valuable tools used to determine the optimum time to buy gold or silver bullion. However, it is wise to avoid haste. Only most experienced investors make profits using short-term view, and they suffer from errors in judgment. With patience, research, and long-term view, you may choose to buy silver when the ratio is high, buying higher quantities with fewer dollars. So they're definitely trying to push the quota of, or the motive to buy, buy wisely, buy smartly, buy patiently, but also buy in bulk, buying bullion, which does make sense, especially for a lot of beginner stackers. You do want to lower your dollar per cost average, accumulating as much silver for you as you can for as cheap as possible, which is definitely the smartest, safest strategy. But also, I definitely think diversification can be just as safe and is just as smart, because then you're diversifying into other coins that will protect yourself from spot price. So just if silver's price stays low, at least you have some coins that appreciate over time as well, which can definitely be beneficial in the long term or short term, because those pandas, those kookaburras, over a couple years, a short term period, can definitely make you some dollars as well. So it really is up to yourself on how you want to play it, but I definitely think diversification is always going to be key at the end of the day. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm curious how you guys use the gold to silver ratio to your advantage, or do you guys use it as a tool? What do you think the ratio naturally should be? Do you think it should naturally be 60 to 1, 20 to 1? What do you think? Back in Egyptian times and biblical times, the ratio was 1 to 1, which meant 1 ounce of silver was equal to 1 ounce of gold back in Egyptian times. I made a video or documentary type video going over all the stats and statistics and history over this. So it definitely has been something we've put into the world as a perspective, a game changer, almost a stereotype and desensitizing ourselves to these extremely high gold prices to say gold is king, gold is the royal metal, but it's only something that it really is a figment of our imagination, because silver really isn't more common than gold when it comes to the reality or the statistics of it. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to smash the like button. Also make sure to subscribe if you're new, because I do post daily videos. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.